Hey there, in this video we're going to talk about the art of the follow-up, and the follow-up is obviously very important to any salesperson. Now, the follow-up isn't just making one single phone call and seeing if the person wants to sign your estimate, sign your offer, and close that deal. It actually has an art to it. Actually, it's more like a science to it. And this video is going to go over the aspects to help you understand the different methods and the different channels that you can be performing your follow-ups so that way you can increase your closing rates. A sales follow-up is what you, as the salesperson, does after the initial contact that you have with a potential client. In these follow-ups, you are encouraging your prospective client to take action towards some of the solutions that you talked about. And they can be conducted in multiple ways, most commonly a phone call or an email. However, where a lot of salespeople end up failing and not achieving their goals is by not following up enough. In a study from Brevet, it was found that almost 50% of sales professionals give up after only attempting to reach out to the prospective client with just one follow-up. 92% of sales professionals give up after their fourth attempt. However, 80% of prospective clients in this study actually said no 4 times before they finally said yes. That is an awful lot of potential sales that are not being closed and potential revenue and potential commissions that are being left on the table. Usually the reason why salespeople don't do effective follow-ups is because they're afraid to. They're afraid to be a pushy salesman, and we're not encouraging to be a pushy salesman. A lot of us are encouraging to be what's called a soft sell, not a hard sell. But there's still certain things that you can do to your follow-up strategy that will keep you a soft sell, and it's nothing to be afraid of. Also, you have to realize that people get busy within their own lives. So if you're sending out email follow-ups, maybe they're not being opened because that person might be getting 200 emails a day. So that might solely not be the best way to do every follow-up that you're looking to do. So part of overcoming these obstacles is understanding the 7 aspects of performing follow-ups and learning proper sales follow-up techniques. So there are 7 aspects to performing effective follow-ups, and to do this, you need to understand proper sales follow-up techniques. So let's look at these 7 aspects so you can incorporate them into what you do to try and close as many leads as you can. The first aspect of performing follow-ups is use a variety of channels. This means don't just rely on phone calls. Don't just rely on emails. Use texting. Use a combination of them. Use the Engage feature on our Job Nimbus platform. The more you mix it up, the better your chance will be of encouraging that potential client to engage and to actually take action to the solutions that you guys discussed in your first meeting. The second aspect is to space out your follow-ups. Now, the company does have automated emails that goes out to your prospective clients from Job Nimbus that tries to get them to learn more about the company and possibly make a call to action. However, a personal touch is always better. Those automations are really just a safety net in case you get busy, and you shouldn't be relying on them if you want to reach high success. A personal touch from you, the person who met them in that initial contact, that is actually what's going to be the difference. The best way to do this is to set yourself reminders in your personal calendar or even your Job Nimbus calendar, reminding you to reach out to certain potential clients and space it out. Create a strategy, create a design for it. And if you do this, make sure you leave notes for yourself for the potential client's personal life. So they might have a kid's birthday coming up or an anniversary coming up or a big trip coming up. Leave yourself notes in your reminders to bring that up, because a personal touch is what we're going for. And it would also help you if you leave a note for yourself as to what means of communication that you're going to do that particular follow-up. The next aspect to performing follow-ups is try to add value every time you do a new follow-up. Now, there's a variety of ways you can do this. I would take web links from articles or blog posts online that refer to things that you talked about as far as their solutions go. Email them those links for the additional information. Another easy one is sharing them the link to the iPhone store or the Google Play Store for our Get the Referral app and say, hey, here's an easy way to earn cash rewards if you know anybody who might need our help. Also, always make sure you address the potential client's pain points, and those are the things that they're most worried about. Remember, you're not just selling a product or a service, you're selling a solution solution. And of course, make sure that you mention any kind of special offers that we have going on or limited time discounts going on with free upgrades or anything else that we might be able to add into the scope of the solution. The fourth aspect in performing follow-ups is always define the next steps in the process and always set the next expectation. Now, this is especially helpful if your prospective client has told you, I need to speak it over with my wife, or I need to talk things over with my team. Then you can say, that's great. Let me call you next week. How about I call you next week, maybe Wednesday morning? If you can be even more specific, like saying, hey, how about I call you at 9:30 Wednesday morning next week? That would be even better. The fifth aspect to follow-ups refers to if you're sending an email. And that aspect is make sure your subject lines matter. Make sure they're engaging. That subject line, just a couple of tweaks to it could mean the difference of them actually opening your email. Try to avoid generic subject lines like, hey, I'm just checking in, or hey, I'm just following up. When you're doing an email follow-up, be as concise and specific to that particular follow-up in the subject line and make sure you personalize it with the name of your potential client. Another study showed that just by adding the name of your potential client in the subject line, it increased the open rates by almost 30%. If you can, like all sales, create a sense of urgency. Refer to a specific timeline. Hey, if you act now, I can get you 20% off. Or hey, if you act now, I can offer you this free upgrade to a class 4 shingle or some other kind of upgraded material. Sometimes even questions in your subject line can be helpful. So it's like, hey, can you help me out taking a look at this? Or hey, can you take a look at this and let me know what you think? Lastly, make sure that subject line makes it clear that that email contains valuable information that your potential client will want to know. The next aspect is keep it brief, especially if you're doing an email or a text. I would say don't let your message get beyond 6 sentences. Remember, your prospective client, they have a busy life as well, so you want to make sure that you play to the very short attention span that you may have when you send them an email or a text or an engage. Keep it brief, keep it concise, and right to the point. Remember, you're encouraging them to take action, and it doesn't take a lot of sentences to do that. The last aspect of performing follow-ups is know when to stop. At some point, your attempts are going to be seen as aggressive or pushy, at the very least, pointless. So when is enough enough? It's hard to say. You're the one who actually met the person, and everybody's different. So maybe 5 attempts might not seem pushy. Maybe 7 attempts won't seem pushy to that person. You're the only person who has the read on that prospective client. Since studies have shown that after 5 follow-ups, 80% of potential clients will actually take action, I would say 5 attempts is a minimum. If you just start drifting into 6, maybe 7, I would say at that point, no response is meaning a no. When you have reached the point when you're making your final follow-up attempt, I would say doing it by email, and this is typically known as the breakup email. The breakup email is you basically asking the client, are you still interested in moving forward, or are you looking to do this down the road, or would you like me to go ahead and close out the active profile we have on you? Sometimes just suggesting to close out the active profile will get a client to actually respond to you because they are interested and don't want to be forgotten. Again, it's a very simple and honest way to actually get somebody to respond to you and actually say where their mind is at. Even if their response is a hard no, thank them for their feedback, thank them for having you out, thank them for the update. We'll close out the profile and you can move on to other prospects that are maybe more warm. So that's the 7 aspects of performing follow-ups and a touch on some of the sales follow-up techniques that are involved. Always remember that if you're having trouble creating these follow-up attempts or drafting them, ask your sales coach for help. That's what he's there for. And lastly, if we're talking about a sales position being the difference between a job and a career for you, then performing follow-ups is going to be critical to making sure you have the success that you're looking for.